Yeah, session. Now we continue with a very interesting part in which we are going to share the products of the Sun Project. We're going to present the handbook, practitioner's handbook on safeguarding the rights of unaccompanied and separated children. And we're also going to share several national practices that are considered promising practices in safeguarding children's rights. So now I would like to give you the floor to Madame Please opinion on Bulgaria. She has been the editor of the handbook on behalf of FAR, and she's going to present to us this publication.
Yes, mine will be the overview of the interesting part also. Keep that in mind. It's nice to see all of you. I hope that some of you already had a chance to see the handbook because it was released in 2024. It is available online. So if you have any feedback, you can also come back to us in this section as well. I will just I think I'm going to present the basics of the handbook and how it is structured. And I will get into detail of every chapter because I cannot go back every minute. But my colleagues afterwards will present the very good practices that some of you may take ideas to implement in your countries, given that we have people here from different countries. So this handbook, this one here, it is the work of many experts, and it is a process of a year almost in order to produce this 160 pages in English. It is based on a training needs analysis and good practices report on safeguarding unaccompanied and separated children. So, which is also available online. It's either on our page or The Sun project also has a Facebook page, so you can try to see our deliverables there. But within this training needs analysis, we had the chance, we were lucky enough to be able to talk to different specialists and also to children, unaccompanied children, and also children, families with children, to gather their ideas and to see what are the training needs and what we can do in order to help and improve um, the field of child protection in each of our countries. This handbook, and after this training needs analysis, what we did was each of the partners we sat down and brainstormed of what our strengths are, because the organizations that are part of this project, they're very different. Some of us deal legally and we are focused on legal representation before courts or administrative bodies. Some of us are very engaged in education, some are very engaged in guardianship, or others are in social assistance, social care of the well-being of the children. So we were lucky enough to have a very big pool of experts, and they could contribute to with their expertise to develop this handbook. So the aim was to create something that could serve as a practical guide. In case someone is wondering something to open up and see, and at least gather the main days that are essential for protecting children's rights. So this was the idea to be a guide for professional people working with the unaccompanied and separated children within the EU, because we examined mostly the EU context and we didn't have a chance to go beyond for this project particularly. And the core of the handbook project was the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the EU. So we selected the topics around the fundamental rights of children envisaged in the Charter. So it is the core, and we wanted to highlight the Charter as an instrument that can also be used as one instrument that can be used among all our countries, not only in Bulgaria or in Belgium, but as something common that can be implemented everywhere. The purpose was to ensure understanding of the legal framework, because, as I said, some of us are lawyers, so we cannot escape from the legal framework and the laws and regulations, directives, but also the principles and best practices to protect unaccompanied minors and separated children. So the target group, as you can see, maybe you can see, I don't know at the back, maybe it's not visible, but the target group of this handbook is parents from wild. And why is it wild? Because a child does not only need a lawyer, a child does not only need children, it needs several abilities. It takes a village to raise a child. So there are different actors that are involved when we try to protect a child. So this handbook was aimed to serve all of them. That's why it's a bit broader. We try to explain things in a language that could be understood by everyone, not just by one individual. For me, for example, sometimes this is very hard. But I learned by practice to explain things in a normal language and not the legal language that we tend to use in our work. So we aimed at social workers, child protection officers, legal practitioners, of course, but also NGOs, young professionals that are still educating something of child protection, law. Also trainers, teachers, principals of schools, health providers, foster families, where this is applicable, parents and families as well. So as you can see, a very wide range of people that are trying to cover that can use this handbook as a tool to help them in their work. The structure that we followed was very simple. First we try to, because sometimes we have different understanding of what one word means. So we try to give a definitions, first of all, the main terminology that we used, so that we would get the same level. To use the same words with the same meaning, which sometimes is an issue because we say something, and someone means one thing and another one means someone else means something else. So we have definitions at the beginning. Then we have a presentation, as I said, of international and EU legislation and standards from the legislation related to those rights. The aim was really to highlight the most important ones and go around them to see how they were implemented also in different countries to show different examples. And through these examples comes the third part. Each section is formulated in this kind of way. We have good child protection practices that we want to present in a way in practice how this works. Not just to say in Article 24 it said that, but also to say in a practical way, in a human way, what it means, how it can be implemented in real life while we do our field work. Then we have some these were good practices. We have also practical examples and challenges because we have many challenges for our work to do our job, basically. For one reason or another, we face challenges, and with this, we also show that for the not only in Bulgaria, we have this issue, but also people, workers in Belgium and in Romania, we have the same issue. We try to think of solutions of what can be applied. And then at the end, given as you all know, information at the moment is not coming from everywhere. So we try to at least summarize at the end. If you don't have the time to do the whole handbook, at least go look at the end and see the key points that every one of you should remember within one page. So this is also something that we wanted to do, so that at least something out of the whole handbook can be remembered by all. Within the content, we have 10 chapters. They are all developed by our partners. And they cover the fundamental rights of children. So, as you can see on the notes at the back, the right to asylum, for example, the type of detention and the rights to liberty, also some strategic litigation as well, how to use it. This is maybe for lawyers and legal professionals, access to education, access to healthcare, to accommodation, to social services. These are the topics that we try to cover in the book. And the main thing is that because not everyone will be interested in everything, each chapter is made in a way in which can be used separately. And there are, of course, references to different parts of the handbook where you can go and look for it. But if you're not interested, of course, you can just read one chapter because this is your topic and you just want to know about this. It's even hard for me to do it here. After gathering all this information, we also try to make some conclusions. And one of the things that pops out in every area, regardless whether it's legal protection or if it's healthcare, accommodation, education, is that the first conclusion is that the well-being, health, and education of unaccompanied and separated children must be guaranteed regardless of their immigration status. And I think that's clear because you're here. And I guess that's something that all of you already know. Another conclusion that we made is made for the chapter. International law, today we mentioned the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the EU law as well, EU secondary legislation. They are just essential because they kind of give police the basis upon which all of us, regardless of where we come from, should start. And we should not go back and apply something less, but maybe improve and apply something more. But this is another conclusion that is basically obvious, but still important to keep in mind that also. Another conclusion was that as we examine a lot of good practices, a lot of things that different countries are doing within their national context, and we know that one should not fit all, and it needs to be tailored because what works in the Netherlands may not work in Bulgaria. But we also know that there should be some kind of harmonization of the best practices among the EU member states, so that children have equal access to rights regardless of where they are, so that they don't have a reason to see Bulgaria as choose a country and go to the Netherlands or to Germany or somewhere else to look for something better. And I believe that all the practices that you hear also today, in one way or another, they can be implemented everywhere. Of course, with some changes to bring to the national context, but still, I think that some parts can be adjusted and fit into your national context. And this, of course, is next conclusion, that it requires collaborative efforts. Of course, various disciplines. As I said, a child has various needs, so it takes different specialists together and think about how to implement this from different perspectives. But also, what we concluded was that we need tailored methods for, of course, we can have a general structure which we can implement, but when it comes to a child, every child is different, and every child needs different things. It comes from different countries, and first story, refugee story, or another story. So we need to be able to adapt and tailor what we have at hand to that child's needs, which not always happens, and we try to fit them all in the same structure. At the end, when we have conclusions, we try to think of what we can do in order to what we will do after this project ends now. Of course, our work doesn't end with the project, we still continue to work, so we try to figure out what we will do afterwards. So what we can do as well, because it's a matter of resources, it's a matter of time, it's a matter of we can do what we have. But actually, what we're taking is that training always is welcome, because there are gaps that need to be filled, and there's a lot of, in many organizations, people always change. There's turnover of the staff members, and then always new people come. There's sometimes enough time to train all those people, and they have to come to the job and learn on the field. But I think training and having resources to do the training is very crucial in order to give this basis for everyone. And then we have policy advocacy. Each country has different political situation, but recently I think it's pretty much the same everywhere, considering Europe and EU. But of course, there are changes that need to be done for policy purposes and advocacy purposes. Community engagement is very important. Here in Bulgaria, it was very evident how the community can stop something if they don't want to for it to happen. It was concerning children and opening this specialized centers, family time centers for them, for small amount of children. The community system, we don't want refugee children here. So they didn't open this camp, so we need to work with the local communities, refugee communities as well, in order to show them that it is not scary to be among refugee children, to welcome them and to integrate them into our society. This comes with awareness raising campaigns, and it's very important. I put it as fight, but kind of it should be in the middle of this monitoring process. When we do something, we should always see what are the results and whether maybe we should change something, whether this works or not, and then to change it and do something else to achieve what we want to achieve, our objectives. As I said, this handbook is available online. We have very limited copies, hard copies, but everyone we can find it online. These are the QR codes for the English and Bulgarian version, but each organization has to translate it in their own language. So we have it in Greek, in Romanian, in Spanish, in Italian, pretty much. You said you don't know the language. So yeah, sometimes we just be accessible for everyone, regardless of the language. So take a look at it and tell us what you think about it. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to my colleagues.
Much more. With the promising practices and we start with the better ones. We will put together a presentation. Can I introduce yourself? Can you introduce our department?
Yes, thank you for reading that. Thank you for having me here. My name is Germa Lauwers and I work at Middels in the Netherlands. For those who don't know what Middels is, that is the national guardianship organization for all unaccompanied minors. So we have one organization in Holland who is responsible for unaccompanied minors, and that is Middels. And at the moment we have about 13,000 unaccompanied minors under our guardianship. And I think about 3,000 of the children live in foster families, and the rest in a bit larger scale reception centers. So for the practice, if a child arrives in Holland, he applies for asylum in the application center. There, Middels is present, so we have a conversation with the minor on the first day. And then we send this request to the juvenile judge to ask Middels to be appointed as the guardian, and then we will remain guardian until the child is 18, or maybe a bit before if the child, for example, is transferred on the basis of the Dublin regulation to family members in another member state or to the country of origin. Every child in Holland also has a lawyer, an immigration lawyer. So we have the guardian, and then on the other hand, the immigration lawyer. And I brought one with me, the very best that we have in Holland, is the Minister. So if you want to learn a lot about migration law, please speak in Korean. I think she's angry now, but I will say something about what I did during the project on Sun, and it is very much focused on child participation. If you look at the case law in Holland, but also at the Court of Justice, there is this development where it is very clear that both Council of State, where the Sandra works, but also at the Court of Justice, that the child's best interest should be taken into account and should be taken very seriously. So a careful examination, and what the Council of State, almost always writes down in judgments is that the best interest of the child should be examined by the immigration authorities without any hearing. So I think that's the essence about almost every judgment on unaccompanied minors in the Netherlands. We have this whole department of psychologists and legals, and they state that these judgments are very much in line with insights that we know from the developmental psychology. But I think it's a good judgment that we have in Holland. what is lacking is judgment or case law about the first paragraph of Article 24 of the Charter, and that is about the child participation and the way and if there is a possibility for a child to express his views on the decision that is taken or has been taken by the authorities. No case law at the moment. There is one judgment in Holland from the Council of State that says something about the views of the child, but that is mentioned in an appendix at the judgment, so I don't really understand what that means, but it is out there, and the Council of State said that the views of the child are an integral part of the best interest of the child. So it's necessary to hear these views. There was a research done in Holland about why it is so important to hear the views of minors. People who conducted the research said or concluded that it benefits the well-being of the child, and it matters a lot for the child if he was in a position to say something about his own life in that sense. And on the other hand, if no one speaks to the child or listens to the child, then the child is very frustrated. And of course, also, we had it before the discussion with the sunlight, also, of course, the case that sometimes the child can actually give relevant information to make a decision. And what's also very important, and I think also very important for the immigration authorities, is that if the child is really involved, then he tends to accept the decision of the authorities sooner, or the judgment of the judge. I will now focus on the judiciary in Holland and what I did. This is Holland, I think you know that, but we have 11 courts in Holland, and every court has different chambers. So we have the family law chamber, the alien law chamber, the civil law chamber, and I sent emails to every court to ask them if I was welcome to explain something about unaccompanied minors, about the role of needles, and to share with them some observations that I have when I go to court hearings at courts. And the good news was that I was welcome at every court. A bit surprised about it, but very good. And well, I have a very long presentation at every court, but in essence, this is what I wanted to say to them. And I had this in my presentation, so I explained to the courts, if you look at your role as a migration law judge, and you compare it with how a court hearing with family law judge is, there are quite big differences. I wrote it down. I think the most important one is that in family law there is this thing that is called the child's conversation. And that means that if there is family law case, that the judge sends a letter to the child in a child-friendly manner, saying there is a case that I have to decide on, and you are welcome to come to the court and speak with me, and you can then express your views. It's included in family law, and it doesn't exist in alien law. So what you see in alien law cases mostly is that there is a court hearing. Then at the end of the hearing, when the parties are already busy with their backs, then the judge asks the minor if there may be something that you still want to add. And I find it sometimes a bit painful that after the court hearings, minors ask, was my opinion or what I said, was it decided? So, yeah, I didn't get it. So I shared with them this observation, and then the responses was that they were not really aware of the differences. So that was for me a big surprise because they all work in the same court, but apparently they don't speak with each other much. So they weren't really aware of the fact that there was this big difference between family law and alien law. It also raises questions of judges, like how do I speak with a child, when we training, and speak with a child. And also very important was something that the judges pointed out, was that their role is very different than family law judges. So the alien law judge reviews the decision of the immigration authorities, whilst the family law judge takes a decision immediately upon a request. So it's a bit different, and that raises the question, if that difference can have the same way of dealing with children. Now, what I said, the child conversation was, in my opinion, the most important difference between the family law and the migration law judges. So there was a conference in Holland after this court tour, where we had invited experts, also from someone like, but also professor of family law, professor of migration law, to talk further about these differences. And the positive news, and that's the practice. Sorry. The good thing is that the district court in Amsterdam, there's also an alien law chamber now started this month to speak with children also in alien law cases. So there the judge they made this letter for a child-friendly letter for minors and alien law procedures, and they sent it to the minor, and the minor helped to go to judge and talk with the judge about his situation. It's now about child test cases and also on private life cases, but I hope that the project will be successful so they can extend it to also unaccompanied minors, maybe. That's one thing, and then lastly, then I'm finished. There was an initiative from two speakers of the conference that I told you about. Professor in migration law and a professor in children's rights and a senior judge. They took the opportunity to ask the Ministry of Justice to write a general act for administrative law, to amend the law and to put in there also the possibility for a judge to have this child conversation in other procedures than family. So we have to see if it will make it. I don't know. Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's very example to see how we can work from family law in order to provide future debates for children and migration law. Thank you very much. And now we will be another the presentation of another country. Paula Lopez is representing our partner in Spain, the Catalan Commission for Residents to Refugees. Yes, I will put Paula's presentation. Yes, you want to show what's the laptop. Let's see. The complicated task for our support, technical support, because we need the presentation.
Hi, thank you very much. I am Paula Lopez, well, first of all, sorry for my English. I will try to be understandable, but anything you can ask me. Well, I'm Paula from the advocacy team of the Catalan Commission for Refugees. For the people who don't know us, we are an entity who works to defend the rights of the refugees in two bases. On the one hand, we provide direct and comprehensive care to the migrants and the refugees in all Catalonia. And in the other hand, we do like advocacy work, a lot of advocacy work, with the UN Standard Internal Borders, the right of asylum, vulnerable groups such as women, LGBT people, and the age of separated children. And we provide different programs to safeguard and accompany different human rights defenders. Well, in the direct and the comprehensive care of the refugees, we provide legal assistance in all the asylum process. We also provide them apartments and places to live there. Meanwhile, the process is taking is going. We also have a sociological level, psychological support, and different points in different cities of all Catalonia of information and orientation about asylum. So today we want to talk about one promising practice that we have identified in the safeguarding of the unaccompanied and separated children. That is that there's in Catalonia there's an entity of the one entity that has an agreement with the government and the guidance. I will say that to provide to all the minors the legal assistance to meanwhile they are asylum seekers. Say the responsibility for the reception and care of the minors lies in the several states. You know, each region has different systems and different guarantees. And in Catalonia, the guarantee of the US is from the guidelines, the General Director for Child and Adolescent Care. And the guideline provides to all the companies separated children different facilities and supports for these minors, from emergency reception centers to long-term efforts and different facilities and programs designed to support them. Majority of the context of the situation in Catalonia, the most companies separated children are created with a few numbers of child minors who arrive to Catalonia, and most of them are from abroad or South Africa or the Maghreb. In gender terms, most of all are boys, only 4% are women, and few non-binary children. Well, sorry. Since we have done this achievement with the government, the number of unaccompanied and separated children that we detect because asylum seekers have increased a lot in the last years. So that's why we speak about practice, and we are now we're going to talk about how it worked and how it started. Well, in 2009, we started in a context in the institution, like a common context, because we knew that there are a lot of children who should be asylum seekers, but we couldn't identify them. So we started different jobs, and 3 years later, we made an agreement with the institution, and we started to redact create a protocol for identification and referral and deliver trainings to professional working directly with the children. So it was like a handbook also to identify the need of international protection. And it was really structured and shared full across the whole system, enable consistent practices and equitable access to protection. And since then, our entity, our legal team accompanies all the minerals of Catalonia through the full asylum organization. And that means that all the unaccompanied and separated children has the same accompaniments, have the same guarantees with equality in the residence process. So what do we do? First of all, we provide the legal protection on the first order proceeding, informing about the rights, how the asylum process works, and what they need to everything to know to share them that they should be refugees, they should apply for asylum. We also do have a close coordination with the social workers, the education, and the educators who work directly with the children and also with the institution. And after when we identify we prepare for the asylum interview and support them with all the asylum application, all the format, and all the process. And on the other hand, we do a lot of trainings and capacity building to all the workers, the professionals that work directly with the childhood around Catalonia. We do different trainings. One region of Catalonia for per year, because there are regions, and that provides them a lot of tools to identify children who should be asylum seekers. Well, as I said in the first, in my introduction, how this work, the number of the asylum seekers and minor asylum seekers has increased a lot. Actually, in 2018, there were only 21 children who applied for asylum to be refugees, and the last year it was 26. So the number is almost 5 times longer, no? But the point is that although it has increased a lot, 5 times longer almost, nowadays it's less than 10% of the total unaccompanied children that are in our system. So I think we should increase our job, and I think everything we did in the samples and especially this handbook will be really useful to increase more this percentage. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paula. Indeed, when we were in Barcelona with the exchange visit, it was something that drew our attention, that a relatively small number of unaccompanied children apply for asylum in Spain, which has a lot of structural explanations. But thank you for sharing this promising practice of having professionals who accompany the children throughout the whole process, but you also invest in these professionals by capacity building training. Thank you very much. Okay. So now I give the floor to our Italian partner, voluntarios. Anastasia, Adalto, will present a promising practice from Italy.
No, I didn't. Voluntaries.
Voluntaries.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anastasia. As Valeria said, I present the group of volunteers from Italy, from South Tyrol, Italy. Being part of this project for us was really interesting. First of all, because not all of the organizations, the majority of us are not lawyers or legal experts. So for us, it was really important to be part of this project. First of all, the volunteers is a group that takes care of right now 5 different projects for minors in the city, We have two reception centers. One and two, let's call them second level centers for minors. One is small apartment, one is a big structure in the city. So when we did all the visits, the first thing that really impressed us is the difference that we have. So in Spain, the fact that in Italy, not all minors apply for asylum protection because we have the minor age permits for the minors. So that was the first big difference in, let's say, practice that understand that we have in the Italian territory. Afterwards, when we start writing the manual, for us, we chose to write about the Article 32 that it was on labor rights of immigrant children. And right now, what happened? Do you have this? So yes, so when we stop for data today, we decide to present, let's say, the practice that we have in the province of Bolzano on let's say, of the working conditions of the minors, unaccompanied minors, not only. Yeah, when we speak about child labor, usually nothing. Yeah, usually the first thing that comes to mind is, let's say, this picture. Children with that are being exploited by adults. But our idea is to think about something like that. Young persons, young mind, let's say adolescents that they have the opportunity or they choose to work and to have with the job placement. The first thing I want to tell that, of course, everything volunteers, but I think also all my colleagues, they will agree that the first priority for the minors is to have to give some emphasis on education. It's crucial because with the good education they can have better future job prospects. And for example, when I started to share the information, it was really difficult to find statistics on the enrollment rates of unaccompanied minors to the schools, universities, and all the educational schools. So let's go back to labor rights. There's a general legal framework. The first link I found was the European directive that said the minimum standards for protection of young workers. These, let's say, the regulations that the first crucial point of education that they will try to balance the work opportunity with education and the development of opening on the minors to the youngsters. The thing that we noticed when we did our research writing the chapter was that there are many variations between the member states, but usually all of them they say that high, even if they could set high minimum work ages, all of them usually they allow employment from 15 or 16 years old. Almost all European countries have some special protections for young workers regarding the working hours. If they can do the adolescents night shifts, and of some hazardous activity that they cannot do. And of course, they will exist the European guidelines to protect minors from exploitation. Some statistics. The International Labour Organization estimated that child labor affected fewer than 1% of children in Western Europe. But many people think that this is an underestimated problem, especially in some countries. Approximately 25% of adolescents aged between 60 years old are engaged in some form of labor across Europe, even if this varies a lot between the countries. Let's say that there is a huge gap through the North and Western European countries and the South. The other difficulty that we have is that we cannot find official statistics on working conditions of accompanied minors. And of course, the countries that they have strong educational systems like Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Denmark, they have higher rates of unemployment. No, the product I would try as well that the majority of youth that they work in a part-time or seasonal jobs. There are some sectors where they work more, like retail, hospitality, agriculture in some countries. And there is an increasing trend for delivery services and gig economy of the last years. So, before I come to the Italian system, I want to add a main thing that we think that the minus risk for the risk of exploitation in the formal labor market, the part data reflects because of the language, the discrimination in some cases, and the social networks. And in some cases, the challenges due to mental health and social inclusion problems. So, let's be right now about Italy. So, in Italy, the right to application is guaranteed from Italian Constitution. And the other important point is that all the foreign children have access to education system regardless of the regularity of their legal position. That means that even children that their parents are not legal in the country, we can enter the education system. Afterwards, I just give you some examples of some laws that exist. There is the law that of 2005 that gives the limits to access to work on the vocational schools, and that the compulsory education is still 16 years old. Also in Italy, it exists the apprenticeship. Is this dual education system that combines school with work-based learning. That means that the young person has a type of contract with the partner, usually the class maximum 4 years. He or she is paid by the company, a salary. And after in the final, when this experience finishes, they have a final diploma, and of course, the work experience is some years to add to their CV. So right now let's think about South-Tyrol. You know, everybody knows that South-Tyrol is on the northern part of the country. It's really close to Austria. So let's say that also the education system and all the economical weights really similar to Austria. So of course there is a really strong application school system, and that gives us the possibility, first of all, to help our youngsters to apply for apprenticeships. And then it this training internship that is organized again from the vocational schools. It gives the possibility to the persons working in the company for a maximum 500 hours, and it's renewed for 2 times maximum. They get paid €4 per hour, and but this is indirectly from the local government, not from the company. The minimum age to apply for this internship is minimum 16 years old. We use the system a lot for the minors and the minors that they are in our structures. The last year, 2024, there were total 299 internships, and 100 focus they were done for minors. It should say for our personal experience, it's something that in our region works a lot. Because usually in the end of usually, not usually, but in many cases, in the end of these training leaderships, the youngsters have the possibility to have afterwards a legal contract, the working contract. Of course, another point I want to mention is that, of course, this internship can function in economies that they have really, let's say, small rates of employment. For example, in the third semester of 2024, the Tanzanian region had only almost only 1% unemployment. So let's say I don't know if this training industry can function also in other countries with really different cases.
Thank you very much for selecting into the right to education and the right to work by minors. And the fact, the data with which you finished your presentation on the demand actually, this is low percentage, only 1% will actually show that there is a demand for workforce, and that we can be mutually beneficial, the local community and the migrants, even the minors. So this is something really good for them, and it's empowering also for these minors to know that they can contribute to themselves, their families, and to the local community. Thank you. Andrei, is the representative of the Bulgarian counseling practice. We invited the Situation Center Open Doors from Bulgaria to present themselves, the promising practice that we selected for this panel. And he has kindly asked us to present next before the break, and to give Andrei the floor.
Dear colleagues, it's a pleasure here to give you this beautiful room. We all hear really inspiring stories from Europe. And I want to say that I'm really I would say that I'm really grateful for organizers in choice exactly this place for this conference. I know it was a second choice, like planning choice. At the same time, it's beautiful, and as a gift, I received the opportunity to time travel. Yeah, so because here, when I walk on this corridor, here in this room, I put myself as a student, and I time travel to the time when I was a student, and I was, very vulnerable at some point, with the parents. I can tell you, this is really important feeling that I think all of us could. All of us should keep really be all our work very. Because when we are here together, when we have this feeling, when we understand what doesn't need to be kids, what does it should really feel inside themselves, when we interact with them. This is critically important, and in 6 days, we can provide them something, let's say, really helpful. Yes, we can give them something really, okay, really, meaningful for them, really valuable for them. At the same time, it's a trap when coming back to the kids and talking to the kids from the position of our experience and thinking, I want to do this, right? You know, everybody understands, society understands, community understands. But from the position of the kid, that makes some different needs. Hello, my name is Andre, and me, 3 years ago, we used my feeling when I would start the Situation Center Open Doors Foundation, which is pretty new. We started as a response to the stream of refugees, the pregnant refugees who are coming here in Bulgaria. Then in the beginning, we started providing all types of humanitarian, psychological aid, humanitarian support, all types of support. And indeed, from my point of view as a moment, it was, let's say, okay, guys, you have moved, take your time, live your life, and so on and so on and so on. At the same time, the people that are coming and the kids who are coming because it's really stressful about education. And education is critically important for everything because it's the whole world for them. It's not structure of the day, it's predictability inside themselves. So if I know what's going to be happening tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and then traumatize, it's critical. So you can have that performing a lot. The education was really worried about that. So get people in the room and say, hey, what do you need, right? You can go like this is an education. And in this case, it happened with the area survey, they say, yes, you have rights for education. Yeah, so you can come over here to decide. But this is a little trick here because when you say right to education, it's a trick. Because we don't know what inside this was, what inside the education. For example, if somebody pushes you from the roof, you can say you have the right to fly, but you cannot. And you also should have the right to be safe in that moment. You should have the right to not be re-traumatized in that moment. You should have the right to have support in that moment. And we have to figure out really quickly in some cases that what we have, and we figure out that the kids who are coming to the education system immediately, they not really feel themselves good. Just because they not have their friends around. They are not really even their father or mom or both parents around them. They can come back every day to the home when they have all the toys and books and things, right? They have their room, for example. And when they come to the school, all other kids and all other adults, they speak similar language, but totally not understand them. Because agreement in Bulgarian is still a different language, because you don't really understand things. And he did not come there traumatizing the same, they can be traumatized the same right there. And the solution to that doesn't put the symptom, right? So yes, the tough issue with the language barrier, right? It's totally, it's okay. I don't think it's totally different, you cannot understand. And if you come in the age of, let's say, 15, 16 year old and teenager, right? You can look at family programs 7 years, 8 years, it's really going to be. You have your grief inside, right? You have your walls inside. And your friends right now, maybe you have something to get already, some nature already, that great. And at the same time, here in comes a situation when the business goes crucial. And everyone's celebrating, laughing, fun, and this, that. And this is also completely traumatized. It also, I can tell you, in a lot of cases, we need the teacher who was really ready to help. Yeah, was really welcoming training kids. At the same time, nobody training how to cope with them, nobody prepared them. And I can tell you, the the rhythm with the Bulgarian education system going to inclusion and become more inclusive is high. At the same time, it's not enough in the case. So what the economic solution is simple. If you travel abroad, for example, you travel from Bulgaria to Cyprus, you want to plug in to the method plugging the laptop or plug chart, you need an adapter. And in this case, what we need, my colleagues exactly create computation hub as an adapter between the premium system and the verification system. So we have some kind of buffer example. And we set education. Yeah, we are providing also a safe space. This is really, really important. We don't talk about some academic, huge academic success and all of that. At the same time, we extract because this stream of refugees is a different time as well. So from the refugees, the material refugees, we extract the teachers. We extract psychologists who speak Ukrainian, who know the games, who know how to work with that. We get their Bulgarians, maybe Bulgarians. We get their Bulgarians, we understand where we are. So we have Bulgarian lessons, we have Bulgarian culture, Bulgarian history, topics. At the same time, we provide this one Bulgarian guide to be ready to enter to the Bulgarian system. You have to enter to understand that. And this is found out. And we have to figure out when actually for the first year, the case was really quiet. And when we start doing something, when we start some baby we should go, okay, they're good now, they can say, do some, do some not from the appropriate stuff, it's been they already become real kids and our groups become real students. And what should we know, right? That we giving the right education, right? We should be also aware that we have all resources, all let's say all inclusive, all surrounded with provide. Other thing which is critically important, you can have kids or the mother, our father, we don't know what with that, right? It's really critical for them to find some significant adult, important adult who actually would support them. And if you not speak language, if you not really find cultural role, it's really hard to become this adult. So for the Bulgarian teacher, it's not impossible. We have kids who after 1 year when they study in the nearest school, but in their free time, found education of how to talk to the psychologists and talk to the teachers, just to get some fresh air, let's say, and speaking the language. And to be thinking your best language if your mother tongue. It's not the luxury, it's not the privilege, it's also the right. And this is also pretty important. What we can say, our mission was to build a safe environment of around the skates. And also some of the MFAs talk about kids, like for alone with really critical information. But even some of our kids, they have this mother to that or grandmother. But this mother would have the opportunity to talk to the authorities, not having the opportunity to talk to the principal, not having the opportunity to talk to the teacher, because of the anything. And this is very really grateful to the comments on the part. They really support it, they kind of people teachers will have and so on and so on. Because they also, and I can tell you, for them it's also a key threat, right? Because if you don't protect your own kid, it's a big stress factor. And the kids feel it. The kids feel it in the right factor. So just by extracting this kids in some safe place, it also creates a safe place for the people who are coming. Yeah, sometimes we have the taekwondo teacher who are come here with the 40 kids on their own and hope that we bring the society power of authority that all the the government is stating up. And it was really for him, if you can come up with something better, that 3 hours of facility was critically important for them to stay and breathe in say, calm down and, fix our own issue, stuff. So, what is important, right? If you have any kind of support for the kid, it should be, for sure, it should be on site. Yeah, for sure, it should be included. For sure, need some people who want the culture. And sure, you can, as fast as possible, explain that there's no business, beautiful opportunity to say, in another country, learn the language. This is the, for example, one of the beautiful tradition. If you're here in Bulgaria today, if you take a look around the people, everybody has such red skin here. Yeah. Oh, you. Yeah. Yeah, and we have this also. We don't show people back inside everything. It's great. So any kind of information, any kind of interaction, it's big break to this kid's mental health. And if you invest in it right now, let's say the 1 hour is mental health, it saves you years of therapy. It saves you years of therapy in the future. I mean, but the numbers we have in total 675 kids to go through our program. We have we are welcome you. Is going to be here by itself here maybe several blocks. And sometimes they can get both like visit us and enjoy it. And we know how I mean also one more thing that I will be very short about that. This is the other educational educational application, let's say. It's the Ukrainian national exam. It's a national exam. Exam, which is really complicated to have. Really complicated. It's the best that we need to do to make the example. People get its own hardware. And only this work, but itself will be stressful for a lot of Bulgarian and the kids that say that. And apart from that, also we organize the contact with Ukrainian authorities and we are authorized that we organize this exam here in Bulgaria. So the kids do not need to travel. If you want to see Ukrainian diploma, you don't need to travel the whole way to the Ukraine, the safe area of occupied territory or something. You can make it just here yourself. We had it already for 3 years, and it's more than more people apply with this opportunity. So this is the main thing that I want to share. Really, thanks for organizing, really thanks for you with the project work. And let's be in touch, let's cooperate together. I will be great. Thanks a lot.
Representing the education hub open doors that coordinating his work as he serves as an adapter for Ukrainian children in Bulgaria to access education. Thank you so much. Now, shall we decide together whether to continue with the 3 main presentations from Bulgaria's neighbors, Greece, Romania, but maybe no, it's not Bulgaria's neighbor because we will find partner from Spain. But shall we continue and then have more time to chat with. If somebody wants to have a small debate, otherwise you prefer to continue. The speakers prefer to continue. Okay. If somebody wants to take something, we have served sweets and drinks. Feel free to do so. Otherwise, we give the floor to Kostas, who is representing our partner from Greece, us.
Very much over. Okay, we are all responsible for the legal and international source of passes. That's one of the biggest actors in the child protection area in Greece. and more specific by providing this economic that provides psychosocial, legal support by accommodation, and of course the education also medical support. In Greece, there is no specific residence permit regarding unaccompanied minors. That's the moment is the yeah. As it is, as technically led, this don't have specific respect for the only pathway for legalization for UDMs is through the national protection procedures. And the question is what happens when this request, when the application for asylum is being rejected? Is there sufficient legal aid system for unaccompanied minors? According to the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, and more specific, according to Article 47, legal aid shall be made available to those who lack sufficient resources, so far as such aid is necessary to ensure effective access to justice. Of course, we have in the Greek legislation, we have also similar provisions according to the Greek asylum code, where it says stipulated that free legal aid and assistance are provided to applicants who are present in the territory of the country. And there are also other legislative provisions that provide legal aid to people, more specifically third national citizens, who are so-called low income citizens of the countries and the state expression. When someone asks for asylum and his or her incomes are below 7,000 euros, he or she has the right to apply for free legal aid in Greece. When we have an decision for asylum, we have the right to apply to submit an application for legal with a deadline of 30 days, and at the same time, before the administrative course of Greece, at the same time, it is obligatory for such application for amendment be submitted by a lawyer. So individuals cannot submit applications for the courts, the administrative courts. At the same time, the person has the right to ask for request for free legal aid and also to request a temporary and administrative protection from the courts. The problem is that it's very expensive for everyone to have a lawyer, to submit the application for amendment or application to require this protection and before the courts. Only the legal fees and taxes are about €1,000 for the submission and also for the hearing of the case. So we can think that it's more difficult for unaccompanied minors to appoint a lawyer to defend their rights. In Greece, all unaccompanied minors are under states protection. They have accommodation, they have lawyers in the centers, but not only for advices. And there are no funds for legal acts or administrative or civil and penal case. The only way for them, if they don't have a lawyer, to submit an application for amendment is to submit a subsequent request for asylum, but most of them are doing as inadmissible. So we thought in us back in 2019 that we should found a specific department for unaccompanied minors in the field of their legal defense and by providing free legal aid for all of them. We also provide, of course, judicial representation only in cases related to their asylum request. When a case was being referred to us, we have to submit to apply for the capital fiscal office file from the State Service, to collect all the related documents that was able to support our application. We were filing the application, we are filing the application for agreement, the application for exemption of legal fees, as I told you, per case, and at the same time, we were asking by the judge of the administrative court to appoint a lawyer for the legal aid system, which is provided by the bar associations in Greece. At the same time, when the court was appointing lawyer, this side, we were assisting the lawyer by helping him to the case. We were preparing legal arguments for the hearing of the case, and you may think that this is an obvious research of what the European state method, but it was not in Greece. In 2019, we say that we were pioneers in this field, and since then, there are more than 100 children that have been supported in judicial procedures by access advocacy / legal departure. After the first year of the implementation of this program, we decided to collect the judicial decisions and publish an edition handbook in order to help our colleagues from the Bar Association, in order to help also the judges that are judging cases related to the national progression. And the second year, we gathered more judicial decisions. So until now, we have 4 editions of case law captures. Many of these decisions are illustrated meetings, and one representative of our partners has already the latest edition. And in this presentation, there is a problem that there are no fundings for the evaluation of this program. We are searching within this program in Greece. You can find in QR codes the latest editions of digital code of our case law handbooks. We feel very blessed that we cooperated with all of you in this SAN project, and really hope that we have another fruitful cooperation in our project in the future. Thank you very much.
I don't know all the brothers parents because there's so useful having meetings and to communicating with each other. By the way, this is a direct response to one need that was identified during the discussions today. That we need to have more national judgments translated into English. So we are immediately going to respond from our partner in Greece that they have done first collection of case laws in Greece that is also translated into English. So thank you very much also for this example of legal aid minors in Greece. And now I would like to give the floor to our Romanian representative, Lawyer Daniela. That's our partner who is on Romania. Is supposed to be a speaker for pharmacy practice from Romania.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but now voice of that is in Romanian. And away from the minor, like this is the one that's important, because we are thinking about that. The current legalization of those days, and every time we spoke about the law, about legal system, about the procedure, about the European legislation, international legislation, but we don't need to forget that we are speaking about the human being. Like our colleagues from the children mentioned in the morning, we are speaking about children and not object. So my presentation for today will be a practical one, because I want to share with you how our asylum system works in Romania. More exactly, how we can apply for asylum. How we can have access to an asylum procedure in Romania. And I speak in general because that procedure is applied also for the minors, separately or not. So if somebody from that room wants to apply for asylum, and you will enter in Romania, and doesn't matter that if you are a minor, or if you are an adult, if you are on the Romanian territory, in the border to the police, or maybe in the transit zone, you can apply for asylum. Doesn't matter if you are the foreign citizen or maybe you are stateless. But of course, that application you can make orally or you can make in written. But the important is to do it, to express that intention that you want protection, that you need protection. And more than border police and more than transit zone, you can apply for asylum also in the immigration offices directly, or maybe you are in detention or in a jail or in detention center, also you can apply for asylum. To complete in that way, the conclusion is that you can apply for asylum in Romania wherever you are. The important thing is that the application will be sent by the authority competent, the Inspectorate General of the Immigration, to proceed forward with the procedure. And then what happens? We have in Romania administrative, self-administrative procedure, which will be taken in the Inspectorate General of the Immigration. We have, if the Inspectorate General of the Immigration reject the application for asylum, then we have 10 days to make appeal, to make the complaint. The complaint it will be resolved by the first court. If also the first court we reject the complaint, then we can make the appeal, and the appeal it will be resolved by the superior court. So we have two stages for and we can when we can make the complaint to give us the protection. Because I read yesterday that in some country, I think I don't remember where exactly, but from what I understand, some countries where the judge cannot give directly I think the judge cannot give directly the protection, the refugee protection or security protection as we have in Romania. But in Romania, we can do, the judge can do that. So if the court, if the administrative officer in the administrative stage will reject the asylum request, we have a chance in the court to convince the judge that all the conditions to provide refugee are for us, and to agree with our complaint and give it, if not the superior court. Let's see what happened with the procedure. Because we are speaking today about minors and unaccompanied minors. So we submit the application immediately in that moment. The Inspectorate General of the Immigration will make all the formalities, appointed a legal representative. A legal representative in Romania is not a lawyer. It's not a lawyer from a legal aid. It's like safeguardship. It's like a guardian. It's like it's difficult to translate in English, but the name is legal representative. If I translate from Romania directly in English in our legislation, The legal representative is the name from the personnel from the national child protection system. And more than that, also the legal representative beginning with 2023 we have a new legislation, and I will share with you now because I think it's a good practice. Point of view. It's about that the legal representative can be also a person working in an NGO. But it's not only person. That person needs to have some kind of like expertise in some areas, what abuse person, vulnerable person, human dealing with human trafficking. So it's necessary to have some qualification. But also the director of that National Child Protection System Center can name prior can name legal representative anybody else from his center who has part of those qualifications. So it's good practice, I think, because also as you have challenges with the legal representative, also in Romania we have challenges with that. So you understand. Now let's return to the legal asylum procedure. After the minor has made on legal representative, that legal representative represent the right of the minor or the asylum procedure and more than or the asylum procedure. Also, after he will receive a form of protection. In the administrative procedure, he will the officer of the immigration will communicate with the minors for his rights in the presence, of course, of legal representative will make a photography of the minor and will take fingerprints. Of course, only if the minor has 14 years old and more than 14 years old. Then after that, he will give a preliminary interview. It's a short interview. Then we will take long interview with many questions. And I also have today some discussion about the necessary releasing the minor to the administrative procedure on board or not. What are the why it's important and why not it's important? I think it's important to listen to the child, but I think also that is necessary to see if it's opportune, if it's necessary to listen to the child. And reflecting with capacity to understand, reflecting with the trauma, maybe it has some trauma, reflecting with power to understand what happened, the maturity, and such other things like those. And all of those things are mentioned in our national law. So yes, in Romania, interview, if we take minor will listen also in the administrative state and also in the court. After that, if it's necessary, we have also the medical legal expertise if it's necessary to determine the age for the child. We submit every document if you have. And after that, we receive the solution. This is the administrative procedure in Romania. It looks easy, but it's necessary to be very, very prepared. It's necessary also in Romania, every person will be involved in that procedure, beginning with lawyers, legal representative, officer of the interview with if somebody from NGO will assist that procedure because it can do that. It's necessary to be prepared to have all that expertise necessary. Why? Because the best interest of the child also is priority in that procedure, and because we need to be sure that all his rights are respected. And for that, we need to prepare, and also because we don't need to forget that the minors and unaccompanied minors are part of the vulnerable group.
what I prepare here for you are some examples of specific safeguards for unaccompanied minors. You will see that there are also general aspects of asylum seekers, not only for unaccompanied minors. But they apply also, of course, for that minors. All what you see here is implemented in our national law, and you see are also are taken also from the international and the European legislation, and of course from the chapter. We are speaking about non-discrimination, the principle of non-refoulement, about the confidentiality, about the interpreter, the principle of family unit. We are speaking about the definition of good faith, appointing of a legal representative, the right to legal assistance. Here, I want to tell you that in Romania is not mandatory to call a lawyer from the beginning of the procedure. So a lawyer, that minor will be assisted by a lawyer only if he will ask for that. That right is mentioned in those rights from the beginning when he will find out about them from the beginning of the procedure. It's mentioned in that paper that he has the right to a lawyer, a free lawyer from the legal aid system if he cannot pay a lawyer. So only if he asks, the state will give him a lawyer for the procedure in the district stage in the court. Of course, it's necessary to ask again in the court to have a lawyer and also in the superior court. Of course, it's necessary to be informed of the procedure and to discuss everything with the lawyer, with the legal representative to know the stage of the procedure, to understand what happened. Does the procedure need to be resolved to have a decision quickly, not to wait a long time? To was upon a time when we have many minors, accompanied minors, and because of the lack of interpreters, we wait also 6 months or more than 6 months to give the first interview in the administrative stage. But those it's not the situation now, but it's important for them to know how long can be that procedure, to keep touch with him, because you know that because they are important, they can run away from Romania, they can be a victim of human trafficking or more legal representative, and already we spoke about that. This is the procedure in Romania in the short I resume everything for you because I know that is very late. If you have any questions, I'm here for you and I'm glad to answer them. Thank you.
Practically, yes, and now, last but not least, we need to go to our partner series. We need to go to Kids, who has come from the United Kingdom. She comes from each potential, but now she's representing the series network.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for having us. I am representing today the Serious Network. It is a European network representing different organizations in the just to give you just a general glance, it's been a very long day and have also one of our members to present and share their experience. I'll make a very brief introduction of Serious Network. So it is a network of working on policy on migrant education at European level. And the focus is on supporting the education, inclusion, and protection of children with migrant backgrounds, including unaccompanied and separated children. And how serious how is a serious contribution it is for policy advocacy with that, and that is through research and also collaboration with educators, policymakers, and civil society organizations. And because of the main challenges we jot down the dominant one is limited access to education. We found that is really challenging across Europe, and psychological vulnerabilities and legal uncertainties, because as I said, this I will be going through that is the main challenges. And our contribution to the SIMS project was that our contribution, the focus is ensuring unaccompanied children and separated children rights to strategic integration and legal advocacy. And the key activities were training for professionals on using the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights, and also developing guidelines on the legal protection strategy. And our intersectionality or relevance of today's discussion for us is the legal empowerment as a tool for long-term protection. And other projects like Enable and other projects that we are working on the inclusion of educational policies for migrant education. So our goal as we are playing is to reach education, protection, and all policy for unaccompanied children and separated children. And education is not separate from protection from our perspective. It is a fundamental right, part of safeguarding as well for these children. The need for stronger cross-sector collaboration, we believe in that. That is why we are working and collaborating across different organizations. So education, legal system, children protection, we believe we must work together. So just to showcase one good learning practice, I invite one colleagues from Spain.
Consideración en Spain.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Sergio Ferrer. I work in Interaction. And now we will try to explain in a short time what does it mean Interaction and what we are doing in some specific activities. So the first part of the speech will be done by me, and later my colleague Christina, I will be there. So the first thing that really is interesting for you is to understand what is superación. Superación is a word in Catalan that we are playing in the words. For one side, we are mixing two concepts. Superación, that in Catalan means in English, being self-improvement, personal self-improvement, and later super action. Not the idea to be Superman, because there are leaders in the Superman, but yes, to try to activate the guys which ones we are working. Okay. So, what is portable population? Portable population is all the youth that they are in high risk of exclusion. Okay. So we don't have a target that will say that is minorities or they are sub-Saharan, for example. But what happened? Now, finally, to more facilities, we are arriving in more population. So in Spain, in Catalonia, where we are working more, we have the 99% of all jobs. They are from Algeria, Morocco, and Sub-Saharan. So we are talking Togo, Senegal, Niger, etc., etc., etc. But one of the things that we are discussing also superaction. What is all methodology. This is the part that is more interesting for me because I started in separation 1 year ago. And there are some concepts that for me was very attractive. One of these concepts is that we are working with the guides with the sport. So we are through the main disciplines of the triathlon, running, biking, and also swimming. We are using this sport in order to use as a tool for developing the guides that we are using in all facilities. Also, we are working with informal educational programs, for example, and also we are working in artistic matters. This is the basic doing that we are doing. And what is the impact panel? We are looking for sort of voluntary share with children, access to opportunities, opportunity to the access to work, for example. The self-discipline is from the sport, the ability to have multiculturality, because we are hoping to them to interact with the society where they are living. And also, we are working with people in one. Okay. So we are using different concepts in order to plan to improve the education of the children. We can say a lot of things. The methodology, but I'm showing here. We are treating physical aspects, intellectual aspects, and also emotional aspects. It's very important to work with the self-esteem. Okay. Also, within the methodology, we are achieving from 2012 a 75% of success. Not a single success. So the guys that have entered in our system, finally we are getting autonomy after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of the jobs that they are passing for the student of the cities. What does it mean? Supervision. Now, supervision, we are not a big organization. We have 4 residents with more or less 100 jobs, where we don't have not only minors, we have also over 18 years old. And we are focused in Catalonia, but also we have residents in the region. Also, we have 3 training facilities spots where the jobs are taking advantage to work emotional or an artistic issues. Also, we are working in order to try that these guys they have to have the opportunity to enter the society. So not only the education, after one of the phases, we are in the community. We are selling this experience in the work. So work-based experiences. So we are given the opportunity to go to work with some organization that will do some MOUs, and they have the opportunity to understand what does it mean to work in certain countries. And we have also different programs. We are trying to attract the women because unfortunately the 99% of all are guys. So it's very difficult to try and find the women that they will go to our facilities. So we are working in this also. And we have sort of previous prison. We have also working in 2 prisons because that they are in the prison. So we are doing small things, but the main ones are the program, the export program activities, but also the research. And with impact from 2012, this is the number finally, we have almost 6,000 children, those that have entered in the programs. Also, we have had 9 residential projects in these 12 years, you see the 13 years of existence. We developed 500 educational programs during this period, and also we have participated in more than 2,000 competitions, because also very important for us that the guys that they are doing training in our facilities, also they have the opportunity to go to UK, for example, a competition. They can go to the marathon, they can go to do a bike competition, or they will go in, I think, 3 weeks or 1 month to Sarajevo, to Mosul. So we are giving to them these different opportunities to understand what it means and to have the opportunity to interact with other people. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the introduction, Sandy. So, my date, I don't want to be boring, I think it's too late already. So, we just wanted to explain what the Axio is, because we have, this is the first intervention that we have with our group, so we wanted to present a little bit of the organization. But now I'm going to talk to you specifically about this program called Spy Steps. Spy is a word that means space. So our Spy program welcomes during the daytime and through non-formal education lots of young people. As I said, it's young people at social exclusion. We are not targeting exclusively young minors, but we are just targeting all youth at some points. But to be honest, the situation right now is in that social exclusion side of things is our migrants. So the ages in our the resource are from 16 to 25. Mainly, all of them are living in a super residence, which makes the work easier for us because we can tackle and work with them not only in the non-educational side of things during the day, but also during night, habits, etc. And that's why our methodology is quite successful. As my students, as I said, at the daytime education space, we empower young people experiencing very experiential learning and emotional support, but meaningful experiences, not just going there to have something that they want to use to. Sometimes just even doing maths or doing vocabulary, languages, etc. It's very important that we don't have our facilities, all of the sports facilities that we use are public. So we work very closely with the access of the city hall, and they have facilitated all of the different courts, swimming pools, and a lot of the material that we use. We also have good connection with sponsors like Nike, Lacoste, and they support us also for us to be able to do this work with our markets. The workshops, as I said, they're very hands-on practical, relevant to communication, basic instrumental skills like maths. We also spend a lot of time with emotional resilience because a lot of our beneficiaries come with a lot of trauma. We are facing, a lot of our beneficiaries are facing addictions, and that's a big thing for us. We can come and face this, and it's a big thing at the moment. And then also, we worked in the perspective, team, individual sports practice, etc. And another very good thing that we are very proud of is that our own youngsters are then role models for other people. So they learn how to
train to sports, but then they will go to maybe secondary education school, and they will work with others, and they will become your role model, and then which gives them another, let's say, another level of confidence in your. And as Steph said, we compete in a lot of races, which is really nice. One of the first things I think when I visited in Super was that in one of the rooms, one of the guys had all of his medals hanging on the wall, and that to me was very emotional because I could see what those medals meant. So I think it's super important that competition can be used that. So the projection for us is we want to continue working with this data resources as the SPY, but not only in Barcelona. We're also working close to Barcelona, but not less than Valles, it's another municipality. And we're also working in the Canary Islands, where there's a big community of youngsters entering Spain. We want to open more residences because we know that if we discover all of the comprehensive side of things, it's easier to gain success. And for us, being here today, and we have a more this year, 2025, is opening Transnational, not only to the national level and to the Catalan community where people can know about us, but opening also to the European level. So here today for us is really nice. And we have also started developing new European projects for this year. Finally, we want to continue actively engaging with diverse and underrepresented communities, like the young migrants. And these are our contact details if you have any questions. I think the programs that we do in Super are replicable in other countries and communities, because as I said, they don't have the sports side things, we don't have own any facilities. And if there's somebody that wants to know more about it, we are super happy to share. So thank you very much for your time.
I see please come here and have these thoughts. And you can join us in order to give the opportunity to our participants to ask questions or share with us any thoughts or comments that they might have. Thank you very much for coming all the way from Spain to be able to share with us this example how such non-formal educational space can give you migrants to compete with the field that show their agency, that show their strength. Thank you. So, dear colleagues, thoughts, final thoughts, questions, or comments? With this, we end the panels on the handbook and the promising practices from member states of the European Union. Can't be possible to begin because we had such a nice journey together from the phase of project writing with all the steps of implementation in this project. And so with this panel, we officially close the implementation of the SAM project, if not our partnership and collaboration and people that this will continue. I would like to thank you for your dedication. We have been so blessed to have you as partners. It has been a real privilege to work with you and a fantastic experience. I can only wish to all project leaders and coordinators to have partners. Leaders, personal leaders, individuals as well as that. So thank you so much. Thank you to all of you in the audience that showed your respect to come to hear about the results of this project and to exchange and share also your knowledge and experience with us. We truly appreciate it. We have one special person that I'd like to honor as the practice of who is here with us, and I would like to honor her because actually she is the person who she just joined the at the conference and she was struggling, but she still managed to come for the end of the conference. So let me honor her because she is the person that decided to donate, to contribute to the salary of Katerina who wrote the project. And if it wasn't for her, it was a absolute grain of faith. And then Katya's faith to start writing this project and to contact all the partners. And then for you also to believe in this idea and support it. We really have had such an amazing experience for 2 years that I believe will continue. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.